I have no clue what just happened. I have no clue what just happened because this is my first live. But um, like I was saying, I left the States on December 5th and made my way through to Southeast Asia. I'm planning on working my way from Southeast Asia back to the States, hopefully, and we'll hit Europe and Africa, which would help me cover um, almost all of the continents, which is a goal of mine to reach, to step foot on every continent before I leave this place. So hopefully I can achieve that. Um, I've been really digging Southeast Asia for a lot of reasons. The food, one, love the food. Absolutely love the food. The people have been super kind, much kinder than I expected, based on some of my experiences in the States. And so that has been phenomenal as well. Now, if you guys have any specific questions around travel, solo travel, where I've been, places I recommend, my favorite places, anything like that, just let me know. Drop me something in the comments and I'll answer everything to the best of my ability. Also, I'll just rattle off a few things that I get asked often. So, one of the main things I always get asked is where's my favorite place that I've visited so far? My favorite place that I've visited to date is, it's actually two. Top two are Belize and Brazil. Now, this is for a couple of different reasons. One, the people there are super warming, absolutely welcoming. They invite you into their communities. They invite you into their home, um, and they're just great food. Also, the food is amazing. The food is absolutely amazing. The beaches are amazing. They're just two awesome places. So if you're in North America, Belize isn't that hard to get to. Brazil is a bit of a longer trip, but I definitely recommend those two places. If you're a first time traveler, I would say start slow. Just start slow. I talked yesterday a little bit about doing soft launches, to get out of your comfort zone. And that can be anything. It doesn't have to be something really far away from your home. You could go one town over just to get that time by yourself to practice to see if that's something that you like to do. Another question that I get is like, do I have a preferred uh, company that I like to use or anything like that? I use a bunch of different apps to get the best deal. I don't typically use a travel agent ever. Um, just because I'm never sure how long I want to stay in a place. So booking things on my own through booking portals and things like that actually works better for me for flexibility because I'm currently in Thailand. I was by the beach and I just thought I was going to do the beach and not come to the city, not come to Bangkok. But after a while, I was like, no, I kind of missed the city. I need me a little bit of city life. And so that's what I did. I decided to come to Bangkok for a week. And had I purchased my ticket and got through the insurance and all that other stuff, like it had just wound up costing me more money. So I typically am only maybe a week ahead of myself, scheduling wise, while I'm out here in the world. I'm not planning for 1 month, 2 months away because yes, you can buy the trip insurance and travel insurance and all those types of things, but you can also just buy the ticket when you're ready to leave. A lot of times it's not very expensive, especially if you're staying like in the same general area. I plan on staying in Southeast and East Asia until about mid-February or March, early March, and so that gives me lots of time to explore. So far, I've been to Singapore, Bali, Vietnam, and now I am here in Thailand. From here, it's a toss up between Asia. I mean, sorry, not Asia. Australia and New Zealand. I'm not really sure, but I'm definitely going to hit the Philippines before I leave this side of the world. Now, let me see some other general questions that I get. Do I have a job? Yes, I have a job. I have a regular job. I am employed. That's the only way that I could afford to travel the world like this and do what I want when I want. I work virtually. I'm a virtual administrative assistant. I have my own little consulting company, and that's how I keep the money coming in so that I can do what it is that I want to do. So, yeah, that lifestyle, that profession affords me the ability to travel. People, do I have children? Yes, I have one child. Um, he's grown. He's a whole grown up, 22-year-old grown man, living his life, very independent. He's on the right track to do him. And so I'm out here. And we have the opportunity to see it. Takes a little, some hurdles sometimes. I think the most difficult place that I had to get into so far was probably, it was probably going to be a toss up between Vietnam and Singapore. Um, Singapore was easy. It was just a lot of pre-paperwork, nothing super expensive. Vietnam was a little difficult only because they changed the regulations at the last minute, and so I thought that I could get visa on entry, but I couldn't, and so that kind of delayed my time and excuse me, and cost me a little bit more than I had anticipated. But when you're out here kind of just going with the flow, things happen. You got to stay flexible. Um, what else do people typically ask me? Is it expensive? It depends on your taste. It depends on your taste and what you want to do. If you are the glamorous type and you need 4-star everything, then yes, it's going to get expensive. If you can, go back and forth between glamour and affordability and, reasonable pricing, sometimes hotels, sometimes Airbnb, sometimes hostels. Now, I will say I have not checked into any hostels yet. Um, I don't like the idea of room sharing. I feel like I'm too old for that. And also, I have way too much stuff. So, I typically don't do hostels, but you can get some really, really good deals on long stays at hostels around the world. And I mean like $20, $30 a night. I've seen them as low as $16 a night in some countries. And they have their benefits. They have an opportunity for you to commune with others and, network and learn people, have people learn you. It gives you a group of people to do things with if you are a solo traveler. So you can explore a little bit more than you would just by yourself, especially at night or when you want to party. I will say that the people that I do meet that stay in hostels, they have this camaraderie amongst themselves. They look out for each other. Um, and a lot of them make lifelong friends. So it's not a bad environment at all. Again, I don't want to share a room with nobody, y'all. I don't even want to share a bathroom with nobody. So hostels just aren't for me. But it is whatever your comfort level is, like I said, and whatever your budget will allow you to do comfortably. Now, I'm trying to think of other things that people have asked me along the way. Let me see. The cleanest place I've ever been to is Singapore. Like, Singapore is ridiculously clean. It's immaculate for it to be a city. I don't even understand how they do it, but they. Oh, we have some people. Let's see. Go live together. Adults only. I'm trying to get you on here because she has a lot of travel experiences as well. But Singapore is a very, very good place to visit. It's super hot and just all the rules in Singapore. So pay attention to them all because they actually take their laws very seriously. But I would absolutely recommend it for probably maybe like 4 or 5 days. It is a long trip to get there, so I would say do Singapore for a couple of days and then head over to like someplace like Bali, because Singapore is very expensive. Um, that movie, I don't know if anybody's seen it, Crazy Rich Asians. That joint's real. That joint's real. You gotta have some bread, some real bread, to post up in Singapore for a while. So I recommend splitting your time between Singapore and a place like Bali or a place like Vietnam. Um, though those two places, Bali and Vietnam, are extremely affordable, almost
Oh,
unbelievable. So
I was gonna say something. Am I
go ahead, say
chopping
something
up?
later. Nope,
Viet
I can hear you.
Vietnam, for a person who is used to living pretty conservatively in the United States, Vietnam makes you feel like a baller. I'm just gonna
It
be
does.
honest.
It does. It's
You
real.
literally get some of the best hotel service. Um, I know we've rented houses just staying over there for like 20 days or so. Yeah, it's unlike any experience, even Phuket.
Mm.
You
Yes, I
feel
didn't
like
go to
you have hit
Phuket.
the lotto.
Yes, you do feel like you hit. I didn't go to Phuket only because so I stayed in Krabi or Krabi, however people want to say it. Some people say Krabi, some people say Krabi. Um, as opposed to Phuket, and that's in Thailand, guys. So you know what we're talking about. Um, for two reasons. Um, the vibe that I got for Phuket was more of a party vibe, like lots of nightlife, lots of restaurants, kind of like a younger crowd, which is cool. But I've had an incident in Aruba hanging out and with the younger crowd, and it was a lot. Like a fight broke out and all this other stuff. And I'm not saying that that happens with young people everywhere, but it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. So I stayed in Karabi because it's more families there. You know,
Yeah.
families, kids. It's a different vibe. So it's not so rah 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 all the time, party 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 all the time. It's a little
Yeah.
bit more relaxed, but the prices, yes, the prices are low, but nobody's. I don't think anybody's beating Vietnam, yeah, because like you
No,
said,
it's so underrated. It's so
mm,
unspoken. It does not give people there's not a lot of valuable content in reference to Vietnam travel as far as
mm,
tourism inside of the United States anyway. But they rarely advertise any place other than leaving this place.
that is also true. That's also true. But yeah, I think my hotel room. I stayed in Vietnam for 2 weeks. I think my hotel was like $600, 600 US dollars, which is unheard of. And I was right on the beach. The beach was right across the street. I was right on the strip. So all of the restaurants and clubs and things to do were very close by. I stayed in Da Nang, and it's a pretty centrally located place. So yeah, you know about it. um, it you can get to just like a lot of different little towns there, and if you want to go, you know, explore the big cities like Hanoi, maybe it's like an hour flight, if that. It's probably not even an hour flight from Da Nang.
I love the fact that
It
if
was,
you get one person as your driver, which is pretty common there, they will stick with you, ask you how long you're going to be there, show up on time. They have no problem making sure that you get to any and every single place. Even the fabric district in Vietnam is phenomenal. The textiles, oh,
mm,
the sandal making, yeah. I try to get a pair of sandals made every place I go that has that level of textile intersection because it's nothing like the United States to have somebody sit down, draw your foot on a piece of paper, and then tell you come back and get your shoe. It's not anything that you can experience here.
hmm that's true. Your thing is sandals. My thing is earrings. I have to get earrings. It's a horrible it's a lovely and horrible habit, but I collect earrings from all over the world, from every place that I've been to. Another
Now,
thing
how do
about
you
Vietnam is,
go
I'm sorry,
ahead?
go ahead.
How do you
No, I was going
ship?
to say another thing about Vietnam is the people. The people are very, very like extremely helpful. Like some of the kindest people I've met. They are. if you're confused, they're going to help you. They're not going to try to get over on you, which in Bali, like people think Bali is all peace and love and Buddhas and yogas. But let me tell you something. You in the tourist part of Bali, they're going to try to get over you on you. And when I say get over you, like charging you 100 to 300 times what they would charge a local. So maybe in the jungles and closer to the nature, it's, peace and love and all that other stuff. But if you by the beach, they're gonna try to get you. Just so if you're in Bali, haggle them down. I didn't haggle anyone down in Vietnam at all for anything. And also, just as a FYI, tipping is not really a thing in Southeast Asia. You can tip, and I
Tell them
typically
one
do.
more time. Please repeat that
Tipping
part one more time.
tipping is not a thing. Like it is not mandatory. It's not on the check. It's already included in the cost of the food under service charge for everything. So they don't expect a tip. And in some cases, they'll even give you your money back if you try to tip them. It's just not really a thing. So that's something to keep in mind.
You're going to get the same service. You're going to get the same amount of food. You're going to get and most of them in Vietnam find it aggressively Westernly, what do they call it? The lady said it, and I want to make sure to remember how she said it. That is Western culture, desensitive, arrogant behavior. Going over to Vietnam and throwing money around is not the business. They are not impressed.
They aren't. They aren't. It's just not a part of that culture. Like you're saying, and you will get the same service. You will get treated well if you don't tip. If you don't tip, no one's going to look at you funny or like you're cheap. It's just not their thing. And you can have a good time in Vietnam and in Thailand. I was like spending money wise, you can bring $1,000 and be fine. You can actually dependent, and that's if you want to do some bougie stuff. You can really get by for a week with about $400, 400 US dollars, because the conversion rate is insane. Um, $1 equals 25,000 Bali dollars, and it equals 35 Thai dollars. So your money really does go a very long way when you are traveling outside of the U.S.
They don't really stress that or tell North Americans that because it is this oversight that it is expensive to do international travel. No, it's not. You can get out of this country cheaper than you can travel inside this country.
That is a fact, which is why I leave instead of staying in the winter. Where I'm from, it's cold. It starts getting cold around November, December, and that can last all the way till May. And so, people are like, you could just go to Florida, or you could just go here. I don't know, because it costs way too much to go and stay in Florida for a few months. Then it literally cost me to go either to North America, I mean, sorry, to South America, or all the way across the world to Asia. It's literally cheaper for me to do that. So
I
you have
can
a great
say
point.
honestly, I agree with you. I'm happy that we met. I'm glad that we're TikTok friends because it is very difficult to find someone who has a relatable amount of experience in international travel. They think that once you leave the United States as a person of color, well, hell, black person, because the most that they're going to think about you outside this country is that you're Oprah or you're Gail. And how did you get out? The minute you mention you're on vacation, you're super rich. And those are the people that are from the United States or from Europe or from UK. The rest of the people, they don't care. You're not impressing them. And it's not that they're not familiar with you. There's a point of where I tell people, like, I travel. I will pack up a freight car and have it shipped 6 months in advance to where I'm going, just for comfort, nothing else. Where I personally have rented cars, put them in a shipping crate, had them shipped to where I was going, drove it all the time I was over there, and ship it back and take it back. With that, I will say that the culture in Asian cultures, Phuket, Vietnam, are probably two places where I'm not stared at in a passive aggressive manner. Like
Okay.
I'm not eyeballed and photographed to death. It's not like, yeah, Hong Kong, they literally come up and touch you without regard to your human self.
Yes, I will say that my experience traveling through Southeast Asia, they don't really they don't really understand boundaries. I'll say that
Uh-uh.
they don't really understand boundaries, and they are kind of a bit fascinated with Black people. Um, Not in an offensive way. They're not really trying to be offensive, but they are trying to be. They are they're curious. Like most of the people in their country look like them. And so, you come there and you're different, and not different in a bad way, but different like we've only seen Black people on TV type
One
of
more
way.
time for
You
the
know
people
what
in the
I'm
back. Yeah, repeat that for one more
saying?
time. Because that
Like,
is the, they don't give you an offensive impression. It's like
mm-mm.
to them, you just hopped off the TV for the first time. I've
Yes,
never seen one in real life.
yes, yes. I remember in Vietnam, I did like a tour and I went off the beaten path a little bit. And the old ladies, when I came down from the mountain, um, the first thing they did was come over to me and touch my hair. They
Hmm.
touched my hair. My guide had to translate, and from my hair, they touched my arm, and then they even touched my thigh. And I'm like, am I being felt up by a group of old women right now? Do I need a tip jar or something? Like, what is happening right now? Um, but what he was telling me was that they were surprised that most time the time when you come down from the mountains, which we were in, and the palm colored people, they're cold. They have like goosebumps. Their skin is pale, like they're just really really cold. But he was said that they were surprised because I was still warm. Like that doesn't normally happen, and it was something different to them. And of course, they don't have curly hair, so they were intrigued by that. But it's like some getting used to. It definitely takes some getting used to. So I say, it is a test of patience. Please don't snap, crackle, and pop on anybody. They honestly aren't trying to be rude. They just don't know. And in their culture, they don't have boundaries. And so to walk up to somebody and touch them is not a big deal.
The best
So
thing I
yeah,
did
just
for myself, the best thing I did for myself was I learned, and it was one of my black girlfriends, and she was like, I need you to learn these words. And we were, exchanging back and forth because we did that up until she passed away. And she used to be my travel buddy. She said, I need you no matter where we go to get this down. The words no touch. Just no touch. And I kept wondering why. So we get to Hanoi, and this lady is
mm,
literally, and we're on the little, getting ready to go in the tuk tuk line, just to grab us a car, or whatever. I felt somebody rubbing my hand, and I looked back like, what the fuck? Is this TSA? And she rubbed all the way down from my shoulder to my fingers, and I kept, because I thought it was my friend just drunk. Thought it was my friend. I look back, and this lady is she just smiling and rubbing like we best friends and we finna get married, lady. And it was an old lady with a stick walking. But she done leaned herself up next to me and then rubbed me down like she finna put lotion on me. Honey, she was giving
like
me
she got to put
put the lotion in the basket vibes. She was
that.
rubbing. Like if she was literally rubbing like she was trying to see if it was going to come off.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. But yeah, it's true. I've seen other TikTokers that travel internationally that, have been in Asia. One girl, a lady walked up to her, a black woman. I think she said she was in China or Japan. She was someplace like that. And she's a plus size woman and she has long braids. And I think her caption was like, "If you are fat and have braids, you'll be very popular here." A lady walked up to her and literally tried to pick her up like she was a panda doll, like tried to pick her, and the lady couldn't have been any more than like 5'2", maybe 100 pounds, soaking wet, and tried to like really literally tried to pick this woman up. So boundaries aren't really a thing here. So again, be patient, be kind. Nobody has to, don't go to foreign jail. Don't zap out on somebody and go to foreign jail. That's what we're not going to do.
Yeah,
No
no.
locked up abroad ever.
You
I know
do.
I say it a lot, but
It is not the
it's because I'm so
business.
sincere about it. It is not a game. Do not come over somebody else's country, spazzing out on them, thinking that
The-
you're still in America. You are going to lose. Trust me, you
America
are
writes
going to
down that justice is swift here. Nope, it's swift over
lose.
there. Right there, right
Yes.
there. It's like a black mama in a grocery store. That's how fast they move. Whatever you do, we're finna get it together right here, right now. Like, ain't no, nope.
Mm.
There's no whole lot of talking either. The minute they figure out that you don't speak English, they getting you to the police office station, or what the stations that they have, which is not that far away. They're in cubby holes in every building around almost any corner. If you can't ride on the bike, they finna push the bike and you finna walk with them right through town.
Right.
No, it is swift.
It is.
Mm-mm.
Another thing I would say is if you can befriend a local, I would, I typically befriend the service workers. I get a lot of services done. I'm not getting my hair done out here. I had a really bad experience in Colombia with non-melanated people doing my hair. So I have trust issues now. But like my nails and my massages, facials, I'll get all of those things done. And the service providers are really very helpful. They give a lot of recommendations. A lot of times they invite me to come and hang out with them and meet their friends and family. And those are the real people. Those are the people that I like to meet. Like I enjoy meeting other travelers, international travelers. I enjoy meeting tourists, but I like to meet the people who live here, who,
The
do the
working
day-to-day
class.
grind. Exactly. The working class people, they're going to tell you where to get the stuff at the real price, one, so that you can stop being robbed for being a tourist. And also, if you are with them in the streets and you're shopping, they'll automatically get the regular price. Like if you let them to talk for you or negotiate for you, you'll get a much cheaper deal than if you had gone out by yourself and tried to purchase things. Especially if you don't know the language. If you know the language, you can kind of sort of get away with it. But if you don't know the language at all, um, you're going to get overcharged.
The
Um,
working class
I had a
in most of those sectors always give me the opportunity of their family extension. They are quicker to
yes,
take you home to eat, and that's their way of the hospitality. Being taken to one of their homes to eat is phenomenal. And you're thinking they do it because of you. Nope. They eat that way every day. You're not special. They're just inviting you to their home. Their respectable cultures of how they eat. Now that's a little challenging. I learned how to keep plastic forks and spoons on me at all times because the hand eating is not always the most charming thing. And you have to get over some of your Western phobia too. So sitting on the floor is not an American thing. And we seem to frown on people that sit on, but they're comfortable. I've never gotten the squat down. Have you got the squat down? The knees to the knees out and the feet to the heel, the butt to the heels. That squat.
no, but I've gotten the little kindergarten cheers, the little which I feel. And if you don't know, especially in Asia, like at the night markets or the street markets, while they're preparing your food, they're like these little like the stools that you see in the baby's kindergarten class, um, for you to sit down and wait. So that's what I mean by the kindergarten stools. I did get a question the other day about how do I tackle the language barrier, and fortunately, but unfortunately, because it's kind of strange, if it's a tourist destination, somebody's speaking English. Most of people speak English. In fact, most countries, unlike the United States, where we might just get a year or two of a foreign language, most countries send their students to a different country to make sure that they are fluent in at least two languages. So most people you will meet traveling speak at least two or three language. English is typically one of them, but even if it's not English, they still speak a minimum of two different languages. And so I run into a lot of English speakers. And when I'm in the more remote areas, what I don't know, I just would use Google Translate for. And so do they. They're fine with using Google Translate. You're not insulting them. If you show a curiosity to learn the language, then they respect that and they'll help you with pronunciations. Let me see.
Oh,
I
there's a good
love to
question.
experience. Asia, but the flight time got me in a chokehold. Oh, baby. So let me tell you. So from
Mhm.
Baltimore, it took me 24 hours of flight time to get to Singapore, which is where I posted up for a couple of weeks. And that like I said, that has nothing to do with the layovers. It was a 2 hour flight from Baltimore to Miami. Then I had like a 14-hour layover, and then a 13-hour flight from Miami to Qatar, and then it was another 7 hours from Qatar to Singapore. And I've met people on different sides of the United States. People coming from California, they say it still takes 24 hours. And California is supposed to be closer to
No,
this part of the world. They say it still takes 24 hours. So,
yeah, it's still. But I can tell you that the outside of the United States domestic flights, the treatment on an airplane as a black woman coming from Cali and flying on Qatar or flying on one of the Asian airlines, it's 999% better. I don't know. It's because I get categorized that you got money. Ooh, you got money because you're able to leave here. But the treatment is so much better on the international flights versus the United States domestic flights for me.
mhm. And you get a little bit more leg room, not a ton. I will say that if you have the money to spring on one of those pods or whatever, do it if you have it. But it can cost a grip. It can cost I think to upgrade my flight from Miami to Qatar, they wanted like $4,000 for the upgrade, and it wasn't even like a modern upgrade. It wasn't like the cocoons where they recline or anything like that. It was just a little cubicle, and I was like, I'm just going. Economy is for me today, baby, because no, that's what we're not going to do.
You want the
But they
travel
do give
hack for
more
that?
space. Go on this. Yes, travel hacks are welcome.
A travel hack for any international flight is to have that business, have whatever your business LLC, whatever the name of your business is, on the point schedule for that airline. A quick sign up.
Mm,
The other
okay.
part is when they see you as a representative of a client, when the legs aren't full, they'll actually ask you at the desk, would you like to transfer up to business class because you're associated with a business for no
Nice.
upgrade amount? A local
That's very
credit card or a local bank. That's what I was going to ask you about when you get up. So having an account at a bank in the place that you're going and using that on the business name that you establish will instantly give you the points for business class.
okay. I know some of the banking rules have been changing to encourage like more nomadic travel in a lot of different countries. I know Costa Rica has basically like rewritten like a whole subset of laws to make it more welcoming for nomads and allowing people to get bank accounts. Also, Italy, certain parts of Italy are in the process of that. Like, if you wanted to actually move to Italy right now, if you had some trade skills, some carpentry skills, some building skills, they'll give you a whole house to refurbish, and live in for free.
That's another
So
bump of having a business account. So having establishing a business is for them when they see you as a business rather than an individual, they respect you a little bit more. Not saying they treat you special, but there are better perks because you're helping their economy as a business. That's how they see it. Rather than an individual, they see you as a tourist. As a business entity, they see you as invested in their economy.
yes, and that's what they want. They want people to invest in their economy, and they're realizing now more than ever that this whole digital nomad lifestyle can help boost their economy a lot. I will say if you don't have like a travel card or travel rewards card, credit card where you can earn points, or if you aren't like a military member, because I think like Navy Federal and stuff like that, you don't have to pay the conversion transaction fees for your bank. If you
Mhm.
don't have any types of accounts like that, I recommend getting a Cash App card. I know it sounds crazy, but Cash App doesn't charge any transaction fees. for international purchases, and they are expanding because when I went out last year, I was in Latin America for 9 months, and like I couldn't use my Cash App card most places, but when I came all the way over here to Asia, I could use it. And at one point, it was only supposed to be the UK and America that you could use the card in. And so it's been really helpful. It's helped me save literally hundreds of dollars because those fees add up. You know, if you're swiping every time, if you need to go to the bank machine to get money, the money exchange sometimes is good, but sometimes is a ripoff. You'll see them when you get out the airport. Exchange your money here, exchange your money here. Sometimes that's also a ripoff. So if you have a Cash App card, I would just say load it up. You know, a little, maybe like $500 or $600 on it before you head out, and use that to see how it goes. To see if it's accepted where you are. It'll save you some money in the long run, and you can earn cash back in Bitcoin. So that's always helpful. Spend a little money, make a little money. Works for everybody. Mhm.
So I've got to ask you, how is the weather treating you? That glow is amazing.
Oh, thank you. I was talking to one of my friends, and they was like, "You got yourself a tan." I don't notice it, but it's been nice. It's been hot. Um, it's it's typically between 80 and 90 degrees every day. Except for in Vietnam, it rained maybe almost the whole time I was in there, except for 4 days, and those were the 4 days I took advantage of. Went out and did everything. Um,
Have you hit
I'm the,
Africa yet?
I'm the,
Any country there? I have no idea what he's talking about, and I'm ignoring him.
I was like, what?
Random.
Okay. Yes. Anyway, so I plan on the plan is to um hit Africa on the way back to the US. Like make that my last stop. Hey sweetie, how are you? Um to make that my last stop and to stay there for like a month or two. But
What
honestly, I'm
country?
having a hard time getting out of Asia. I keep finding places to go. It's in Asia, like it's crazy. I'm going to post up in Kenya because of the airport. I was
Okay.
told that Kenya has one of the better airports. So to bounce around the rest of the continent in, you can get in and out of places quickly from the Kenya airport. So that's where I probably will get like rent my apartment at and just explore from there.
Okay. Okay. You will definitely enjoy it. But you've been there before, right?
No, it'll be my first time. A lot of places that I go are my first time going. My first time going to these places. They're like places that I've seen in my favorite movies growing up, or some of they have some of the food that I've always wanted to try and eat. I will tell you one thing: Thailand has completely reinvented what I think a salad is or a salad should be.
Mm.
It's I need it's just things that I never even would have thought to put together. And they look disgusting. Don't get it twisted. It looks gross, but it tastes absolutely amazing. I have to post more food pics. I've just been posting like other things, but I'll have to post more food pics because the food is phenomenal. It's phenomenal, and it won't make you fat. A lot of the food in the States, it's full of poison. You
It's
know,
processed to
it's
death.
processed, GMOs, clone meat and all that other stuff. A lot of stuff we do to our food is illegal in other countries. So you'll find yourself traveling the world, eating what you want to eat and losing weight. And you'll be like, but I've been eating everything, but it's because your food isn't pumped full of horrible things. So
If you don't
try
mind me
everything.
asking, what
hmm
what triggered what pulled the trigger on the first international travel?
I was tired of people, honestly. I was tired of people. I was tired of people pulling at me for the parts of me that were useful to them, but not really being there for me um, when I needed someone there for me. And it was happening a lot with friends, with family. You know what I'm saying? And my son, who is grown, Like I said, I have a grown man. He's 22 years old. He's in the military. He's in the army. So please, I don't agree with war, but I support him and I support our troops. It's a lot of young men. It's a lot of young Black men in the military that need our support. It is a very tough environment, especially if you're a Black person. And so they need our love. They need our support. They need to know that we care. But he's, like I said, he's in the military. He's stationed in Kentucky. He's living his own life. And so I was just sitting in the house by myself, like, why am I sitting here and why am I dealing with these people? I don't have to. I can just get up and go.
What keeps it going for you?
New things, seeing new things, meeting new people. I have a few international couches I can sleep on now that I didn't have before. I love expanding my network. And I just love seeing beautiful things. I feel like a lot of the times the imagination is beat out of us early in America. And when I say beat out of us, I mean through the educational system. They teach us to be practical. Our parents teach us to be practical. Society in general, be practical. Go to school, get a job. Those types of things, and even down to our architecture. It's functional. It's not always beautiful, but it's functional. I feel like the new MLK statue, and what is it in Boston? The one that everybody's talking about.
No comment. No, I have no comment. I have no.
It's like
no.
It's an example of when you're trying to when trying to be imaginative goes wrong. I think you know what I'm saying. So
I don't even know what. No. I'm gonna leave it at no comment because
we're gonna stay away from it. We're gonna stay away from it. But you come to these places and you see like all the color and angles and thoughtfulness and functionality that they put into their buildings, and you are blown away. Like you're just blown away. You didn't even I see some buildings and I'm like, I didn't even know you could construct something like that. So all of that, the food, the people, the art, the architecture, that's what keeps me going. And like I said, my goal is to step foot on all 7 continents before I leave this world. That's what I would like to do. But does anybody have any questions? We are getting close to the end of this hour. It is What You Want to Know Wednesdays. For you guys to ask me any of your travel questions, anything that I might have missed, anything that you've been wondering about, how to get started, whatever. I'm here to talk about it. I think, probably about another month left in Asia. Like I said, I'm going to hit the Philippines when I leave Thailand. And from the Philippines, I'm going to probably spend a day or two in Australia and then maybe a little bit of time in New Zealand. Travel helps us expand mentally, but it's not easy for all to achieve, sadly. It's not easy, but it's not impossible. It takes a little bit more planning for some than it does for others. And there's lots of ways to ease that burden. Like they have apps now where you can pay in installments. You used to have to go through a travel agent to get in a payment plan or an installment plan. But with apps like Affirm or Klarna, and even now PayPal, you can get these 12-month payment plans, and they will break down the total cost of your airline flight or your hotel room into 12 monthly payments. And most people can do 12 monthly payments on something. I don't know a whole lot of folks that can't. So it just will require some pre-planning. And it's like fancy layaway because you get your stuff first. Like you get your flights, you get your hotel, and then you don't typically, if you don't have to put a down payment on it that day, then payments typically don't start till the following month, and then you pay from there. Now, be responsible with it, please. It doesn't impact your credit score or anything like that, but if you don't pay, it probably will. So be responsible always, but it does make travel
a little bit more accessible for everybody. Thank you so much for your service. Like I said, my son is in the Army. I thank you. I thank you for your service. I thank you for your service. So I would say look into some of those apps to kind of make it. Yes, I am. I was born in '82. Yes, I was born in '82. But those apps are ones that I use a lot, and even Hotels.com. Hotels.com has a reserve now, pay later. So if you're not going somewhere for 6 months, you can reserve it. You can cancel it up to like a day before you're supposed to arrive, and you'll be good to go. It just takes a little bit more pre-planning. But there are options out there to help make it accessible to everyone. Good afternoon from Washington State. Hey, Washington State. I want to come to Washington because I hear it's beautiful there, except it just rains a lot. Is it always raining? Is it ever warm in Washington State? I need to know. I need to know because it's supposed to be extremely beautiful there. Somebody tell me something. Does anybody have any more questions for me? It is 7:55 a.m. here in Thailand. I'm about to get my day started. I'm going on a tuk-tuk street food tour this evening, and tuk-tuks are like the little taxi cab with the scooters attached to them. It's weird. I'll send a picture. I'll post a picture of it. But it's basically a cart attached to a scooter, and they ride you around. How do you think what? How do you think I love it? You really okay? You really do love Washington? Okay, that's what's up. Thank you. You guys have a great day as well. And as always, everybody, happy and safe travels. I'll jump back on next Wednesday for What You Want to Know Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bring your questions. Scroll through my page, my profile. You might get some questions from watching some of the old TikToks. I've been to so far, about 20 countries between North and South America and Asia. So check them out. Let me know what you want to know, because I'm here to be a resource. So until next time, everybody, stay safe and have a great day.